Were women powerful in early Germanic tribal societies? Imagine a world where women are seen as vital parts of society, not just in the home but also in the spiritual and sometimes political spheres. That's what early Germanic tribes might have looked like. These tribes, which lived in what is now Germany, Scandinavia, and parts of Europe, had a complex view of women's roles. They weren't all the same, and their influence varied depending on the time and place. In these societies, women were mostly seen as helpers in the family and caretakers of the home. They managed household chores and raised children, which was very important for keeping the tribe strong. Marriages often involved exchanges of weapons or valuables, showing how much society valued martial skills. Women would sometimes travel with warriors, not to fight but to support them with supplies and encouragement. Their presence was seen as a boost to morale and bravery. Laws from around 400 to 1000 AD show that women had limited rights. They depended on male guardians like fathers or husbands. Women could own property, but their rights were often restricted. Widows sometimes gained legal rights and could inherit land or wealth, especially if their husbands died. Germanic law also protected women from physical harm and sexual abuse, with systems in place to punish offenders. Still, society was mostly patriarchal, meaning men held most of the power. Religious roles gave women more influence. Some women served as seeresses or prophetesses, known as Völvas in Norse stories. These women were believed to have special powers to predict the future and perform sacred rituals. They often advised tribal leaders and sometimes played roles in diplomacy. Roman sources mention women like Hannah, a seeress who was respected enough to meet with Roman emperors. This shows that women could hold spiritual authority and influence politics indirectly. In times of crisis, some women stepped into leadership roles. There are stories of women fighting alongside men or leading resistance efforts. Widows or royal wives sometimes inherited leadership or land, showing that in certain circumstances, women could wield real power. These instances weren't common but highlight that women's influence could grow during turbulent times. Overall, women in early Germanic tribes weren't rulers or warriors in the traditional sense, but they held important roles in religion, family, and sometimes politics. Their power was often tied to their social and spiritual positions, and they could shape their communities in meaningful ways. Their influence was shaped by the society's rules, but they found ways to leave their mark, especially when times were tough or when spiritual authority was needed. This balance of influence and limitation paints a picture of women as vital, if sometimes understated, figures in early European tribal life.